Hey everybody, how you guys doing? Make sure my mic sounds good here. Murph's good, man. Murph's good. I'm gonna be a little heated in this video because this is insane to me. This is something that should be on every single news channel. And I mean, this is beyond corrupt. This is as bad as it can possibly get to me. I mean, what is worse than human and child trafficking? And they basically just got away with it. And they're bribing churches. They're hiding stuff. God, I fucking hate JPMorgan, dude. They are insanely corrupt. I'm plugged in now, so we shouldn't have any lag issues. Wi-Fi's done, but let's get right into this video because I only got about 45 minutes here, so I want to got a lot to go over with JPMorgan here. This fucking criminal enterprise that they are here. So 72 hours before, JPMorgan offered $290 million to make the Epstein case go away. They basically, they disclosed that the bank withheld 1,500 documents of evidence. We're talking about, if you come down here, despite the court's clear warning, Murphy, please. JPMorgan Chase still failed to produce documents. Like I said, guys, could you imagine if we went into a court and we just didn't give people documents? We didn't give them all this stuff. We're like, nah, it's okay. We're not going to do that. And we're going to go ahead and say that it was strategic. They withheld this from plaintiffs until they could no longer make a meaningful use of it. And they said it was strategic. We're talking about trafficking children. There's nothing to be strategic about with this court case. This is as bad as it fucking gets. This is insanity. They're literally withholding evidence, and they're not presenting it. And first of all, watch how insane this judge gets. So first of all, the judge, that's okay. Don't worry about that. So then you have JPMorgan, who is getting involved. They're talking about another thing. So they went into, and they had a, buddy, please. Sorry, my dog is driving me nuts right now. So you got JPMorgan. They failed the stress test. Basically, everything about this, they were guilty. They were guilty as hell. Everything Jamie Dimon was saying, I'm going to go ahead and post this right now. Everybody in the chat, everything he was saying, like I've been saying, guys, this is guilty. This is stuff everybody, why is this not letting me post this? This is stuff everybody should be talking about. This is stuff all the news are, everybody, but no one cares. This is talking about trafficking people. And this guy's about to get away with this. And if you come down here, it talks about how he's also in a lawsuit still with the Virgin Islands. Well, when I showed you guys a while back, and we all heard about how the one attorney that went ahead and filed a lawsuit with them got fired instantly. Well, if you go ahead and read this now, so after they're in another lawsuit and they went ahead and, settled on this one, what does JPMorgan go ahead and do in return? They go back and they say, well, the First Lady of the U.S. Virgin Islands, they were helping us traffic. So you're fucking admitting you were fucking trafficking. Oh, well, she was helping us. You're pointing fingers at each other. Just like I said, this is what always happens. When one of the bad guys go down, they all look over and they go, well, they did it too, or no, they did it worse. Well, they helped. So then, after all of this comes out, you're this is public information now. You withheld documents. What the fuck happens today? You have Jamie Dimon. This isn't today. Hold on, I'll get to that in a second. You have Jamie Dimon in this case. I have the email. You have him talking about getting heavy snacks in a meeting with Jamie, the biggest piece of shit on fucking planet. Here he is. Here it is. Mr. Epstein, blank, Jess, and Jamie. Shall I have Lynn prepare heavy snacks for you this evening? Jess Staley and Jamie? Dude, what the fuck? And they're just paying people to make this go away. And then today, they give them $290 million. You have Deutsche Bank, who was also caught. They would call these banks on the phone and say, did the fucking payments go through for these children? And they would say yes, and then they would traffic them. That is just as fucking bad as trafficking the kids. And what happens today? After all this comes out, the judge says, go fuck yourself. We're not going to reopen this case. No. No more questionings. No more nothing. It's done. You are not. Nope. Go away. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? How much did this judge just take? How much richer did he get over the last couple months? What? Are you fucking kidding me? What? No, go fuck yourselves. We don't care if there's more information. We don't give a fuck. We got paid enough. This is unfucking believable. If this is what's going on, and I want you guys, before I get to this next thing, look at, actually, I'm just going to get this next thing. I'm not even going to get in that because I'm going to get really pissed off. I'm just going to skip it. Look at this. Banks fined since the year 2000 have paid $364 billion in fines. What have they stolen in that amount of time? Like I told you guys the other day, or last month, somebody made a phone call in the Silicon Valley Bank, and it took out the 4 top investors. And those 4 top investors ran to Goldman Sachs and they ran to JPMorgan. And I told you guys, one of those fucking banks, either JPMorgan, Goldman Sachs, somebody called and said, you gotta get the fuck out of there. You gotta go. You go out and we'll cause the chain event, and we'll cause the reaction, and we'll cause all these people to run out of their deposits. They all ran to JPMorgan. We'll run over to the politicians. We'll tell the politicians to change the laws. Now, hey, here's a loophole. We can now have more than our fucking 10% deposits. We can have it up to 18 now, see? They're failing. It's okay. And now what happens? Goldman Sachs is getting probed for being the ones who called on Silicon Valley Bank and made the run happen. This is exactly what I told you. It's an attack on fucking the middle banks. It's an attack on us. It's a thing so we can get less banks, less competition. They use us, they use the small little news articles, this and that and this and that, to take out competitors. There is no longer competition in America, which is what it was built on. It's now stealing. It's now doing all of these corrupt crimes. Because why? You know you're going to get a slap on the wrist. I gotta find this quick. I'm gonna jump around for a second because I'm being really. I need to take a breath, so I'm gonna let you guys listen to this because I got a lot of stuff to talk over. Because I'm really fucking mad. I want you to listen to this for a second. It's like 30 seconds. Just.
If you know that when it goes tits up on you, when the trade goes bad on you, they're going to come bail you out, right? I mean, look at Ken Griffin, right? He runs Citadel, okay? He should have been bankrupt.
He should have been bankrupt.
He should have been bankrupt. But I've been told by a good source, could be wrong, but it's a good source. As you know, Ben Bernanke is on his board of advisors. Ben Bernanke is paid $20 million a year by Citadel. That's what I've been told. I don't know if it's true. It's a rumor.
And that's what it is. And everybody knows. These guys just sit there and they get bailed out. And they know they can do unlimited crimes. They don't care. Think about this. If there is an industry where there is $364 billion in penalties. That is the biggest crime in history. That should be... There's no crime that even comes close to this. Nothing. Nothing comes close to this. But this is not talked about. What's talked about is some guy tried to steal $1 million on Bitcoin. And what do? They go out and they destroy crypto. And now what are the banks doing? All the banks, they're running to crypto. BlackRock, major banks, they're all buying crypto in record amounts. We crushed all the cryptos. We crushed all this. Let's buy the main competitor and we'll control that too. Yeah, we know. But this is what I'm saying. This is what is ridiculous. It's everything we show you. Guess what? Congress, just like the GameStop report, they admit that we're right. Again, you're correct. They admit you're right with cryptos. Oh yeah, they've been doing this with cryptos. FTX, you're right. They've been doing it. Binance is now basically getting banned across the entire world. They're going to go down pretty freaking hard. And this is the problem. The government, like I said, they just use us to crush their competition. And then they sit there and like I said, it's a big hand job circle jerk. Before I get there, actually, here's the thing. Everybody sits there and goes, you're a Gary Gensler fan and you're defending Gary Gensler? No, but I'm looking at who is the people behind let's fire Gary. Let's do this law. Let's do this reform. And here's the people that don't get it and have already bitten to the cookie and just fucking love it. This is how easily you're manipulated. Okay, I'm going to show you this. And then you're going to go, oh, wow. So what they do is they go, hey, we're going to do a reform. We're going to do all this, and it's going to be so great. Nobody can cheat. Nobody can lie. Nobody can steal. Just like a campaign promise. We're going to put this act into law. We're going to put this act into law. We're going to get Gary Gensler fired. Then we'll put that act into law. So what's going to happen is actually we're going to get Gary Gensler fired. We're going to get somebody in there we want. And then we're going to not put the bill in. Just like every time they do a political campaign. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. And they don't do a single one. If they accomplish one out of the 18 things they promised you on their campaign goals, they fucking are jacked. Hey, I did one of the things. This is exactly what they're going to do with you and Gary. They're going to fire Gary. That act won't even go through. It won't even go through the first round. It probably won't even they'll get presented. It'll get shot down immediately. And they're going to go, no, we're not going to reform it. Fuck it. But all of you people, he's already gone at that point. They got what they wanted. And at that point, you're going to go, oh, man, here's fucking Hester Pierce. Like I said, and it's that easy. And there's people literally, oh, it's about Gary. It has nothing to do with fucking Gary. It has to do with this. These are the same piece of shits that took FTX bribes. The second they took FTX bribes, guess what they did? Hey, let's completely stop this investigation into FTX. Let's completely stop it. And guess who it is? It's all your boys. It's all your boys. Oh. It's the people that voted against transparency. Oh, because they definitely have retail's best interest at heart. They wanted to protect a criminal right after they received donations from that criminal. So when I look over and I say, these massive criminals want Gary Gensler out, all of a sudden, the second the auction rule is coming, Doug is interacting with me every day. Me and little Dougie Fresh are going back and forth nonstop. I've been talking shit all day to Doug because he's a fucking loser. And this entire, all of these guys, this whole little corporation, this whole little stunt they got, I've been talking shit all day to Dougie. He's a fucking shill. He's the bottom of the barrel. He's literally just a little peasant in this whole system, and he thinks he's big show here. Why doesn't he want to talk to me? Let's find out why he won't do a space call. Let's get into what is a market maker. Let's talk about this real quick. What is a market maker? They say that they provide liquidity, right? They provide liquidity to the market. We all heard this interview. We do size improvement. If there's not 1,000 shares out there, we go ahead and we fill that order anyways because that's meaningful liquidity. In other words, when there's stuff that is not there, you provide it, which is an IOU. But instead, some people call them synthetics. But what they're called in your industry is market maker exemptions, or shares sold not yet purchased, which you guys don't have to count against your balance. You have how many unrealized losses that you're not counting against your balance as well. And this is my point. You guys come in there and you think that, oh, we're the greatest things ever. You basically buy orders. Let's go ahead and break you down here, Dougie. Virtue is on the DTCC, okay? So they're the regulators. Here he is. They're the regulators. They're the regulators. They're the DTCC. They're on the LUD committee. So basically, he gets to decide, as a market maker, they get to decide the LUDs, the rules, the stops, when they need to pop these off, all of that good stuff. On top of that, they decide the crime, who gets away with it, what is crime, basically everything. They get to control it all. So, in other words, what do we do here as a market maker? You take people's orders. You have a hedge fund, so you can bet against those orders because you already know what the fuck is coming in. And you guys do front running all the time and no one gives a shit. No one gives a fuck. Why? I just showed you why. Because you're the regulators and you all profit from it. Finner's sitting here giving you guys acceptance, waiver, and consent. Acceptance, waiver, and consent. And you're sitting there just, giving that hand jibbers and a little payoff. A fucking bribe. That's what you guys do. You bribe people anytime you get a little too fucking greedy. But let's keep breaking you down here. So, you have companies in the Virgin Islands so you can get out of paying taxes. You have tons of sub-companies so you can do swaps and swaps and swaps and delays and delays and delays and filling those orders. Conflict of interest. I guess not, Dougie. But these are the things you never seem to respond to. You only respond to when I call you a piece of shit or a pussy or make fun of your wife. And that's what I need to do because you're a fucking loser, dude. And if that's what I need to do to get your attention, Let's go ahead and do it one more time. Dougie, if you look like this and your wife looks like this while she's carrying a Prada bag, a super charade fucking dress, has designer glasses in fucking Italy or wherever you are, and you look like a dinosaur with this popped and you're balding, it's not your looks. It's not your personality. You're a piece of shit. What is it? Your money. Fuck off, dude. You sit there and act like you're better than people, and you're a fucking criminal. You're a piece of fucking trash. You rigged the game in every way, and all you said to me today was, you're pissed off you lost. You shut the buy button off on us. You guys stole billions. You guys should have went under. You guys lost. You should have collapsed. You went bankrupt. Everybody fucking knows it.
But
Makes sense.
it would make sense.
Everybody knows.
Because when
But no one cares. You guys just get bailed out like in 2008. Oh, the government's going to come in and give them fucking the federal program. They're at $185 billion. And you know what? That's supposed to be, you know what? I just found that out today too. This is going to get real interesting here. And yes, we'll get into AMC and the squeeze, but I'll get into that at the end here, guys. The corruption needs to come out first. People need to see what the fuck is going on. Speaking about that $185 billion that they've also already bailed them out. I already showed you they're stealing from the federal home loan program. They're stealing billions and billions and billions out of that. Well, they need to pay back $185 more billion by the end of this year. It's supposed to be repaid in full by the end of this year. So you have even more pressure coming on them other than the next Phase 6 contracts ending. Now with Phase 6, everybody's asking about that. I think next week you're going to start seeing that. What you're going to see is the reverse repos start to drop, and you're already seeing them now. You're going to see the treasury bonds come out, and those auctions should start today. Where the fuck is it? You got the repos are already dropping. They're finally under $2 trillion. You're going to see a lot of these banks and a lot of market money funds running into there. They will be pulling out of the market, and they will be jumping into these bonds because those rates will be so juicy. And this is when you're going to start to see crashes. You're going to have more people running out of banks. You can see bank runs now coming. This is what we're waiting for. You watch the repos start to go down. Second, it starts going lower and lower, and they're buying back these bonds. This is something that I keep saying. Our government is just stupid as fuck. Because one of the things that they're also not thinking about, which was asked today, was my little yelling thing. China, what I have been telling you guys, one thing they do not have now is China buying the treasury bonds. They were the number one country buying all of our treasury bonds. They're buying them up like crazy. Now they don't care. They stopped buying them. So they need us and they need the banks to go ahead and start paying off their own debt. So one of the things that Yellen, they asked her today is what are you going to do if suddenly China says, you know what, fuck it. We're going to go ahead and dump all of our treasury bonds. Let's listen on her insight here.
So we are not engaging in specific exercises to address such a risk, but the United States, the National Security Council, is certainly concerned on an ongoing basis.
Well, Madam Secretary, I would encourage Treasury to make preparations and be on the ready for that scenario and work with.
You see what I'm saying? We have dinosaurs in office. And they're like, what? I have nothing to lose. Sorry, I'm really tired. I was just doing a speech over at Citadel where I make 14 times as much money as I do from my government job. So I'm really exhausted. I just flew over from Florida. Oh. And that's where your retirement fucking home is, Grandma? You have no clue what you would do if China dropped all those treasury bonds. And you would have a whole bunch of problems going on. And this is my point. We have dinosaurs running this country, and everybody sees what's happening. It's just crime and stealing, and them going, hey, we're going to go ahead and raise the fucking cap to an unlimited cap. We can go ahead and spend. The first day, we're going to borrow $358 billion and spend it. The United States is on a death spiral, and people need to wake up to see what's going on. We have to fix this problem. This is insanity, what is going on. People should not be able to get away with sex trafficking because they have money. They should not be able to withhold evidence because they have money and can go ahead and bribe a judge. Bribe a judge to say no more. If there is one thing in the world to ever open up again, it is more evidence came out from trafficking. If that's not something to look farther into, what is our justice system doing? What are these judges? What are you doing? Well, it's Jamie. Yeah. And he failed at every single point and withheld stuff. Who's his biggest client? Who's a client? Where his bank got called when there was going to be a traffic situation and said, did the money clear? Yes, go ahead. Yes, the money cleared. Go ahead. This is in fucking sanity. But no. This shit. Like I said, there's so much stuff coming. They cannot do this, and they can't tame inflation. The fact that they paused it, now you're going to see a 50 point next time. It doesn't solve anything. They knew that they needed to give them a little more time, so they went ahead and tried to pause. But it's not going to fix anything. You're going to have to re-raise. You're still printing. There's still more inflation coming. There's still more problems. There's still billions every day being siphoned out of your country. And until you stop Wall Street from siphoning every penny from everyone, you're still going to have your housing bubble. There's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do until the day either we stand up and say, our government no longer taxes us or represents us in any way, shape, or form, but you sure tax from us and steal from us in every way. What is our justice system? What is a justice system if this is common knowledge, this is common public information that this was done. It was done. And a judge says, I don't give a fuck. No. Like I said, man, this shit is unbelievable. Michael Jordan isn't even safe. Look at this. They took Short and Distort and they took it over to Michael Jordan. Hey, Michael, I'm going to lose all your money. Gabe comes over and he says, I'm going to lose all of your fucking money. And then after I fucked you up, I'm going to come and buy your team. Not even Michael Jordan is safe from this shit. The guy who fucked him up, took all of his cash, is buying his fucking team. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. I'm literally writing a book on this. And I'm sitting there thinking, as I'm writing all this shit, I have so many pages of this already. It's insane. And I've only started 4 days ago. This thing's going to be like 500 fucking pages long. Every day I wake up, there's a brand new thing where you're like, dude, is this a scene from a movie? No, this really fucking happened. No, they really do this stuff and sign acceptance, waiver, and consents. No, there's really been... Okay, time out. Let me just say this one thing to make you understand how bad this is. There has been 7,424 felonies from these people and 0 arrests. And 0 of these people are kicked out of the fucking market. They're still trading. They're still trading. They're still trading after doing 7,424 felonies, but they're white collar felonies, so it's okay. 7,424. Look at how many felonies just off the top 10 banks. These are all felony crimes, and no one cares. These are billions of dollars, by the way. You see what I'm saying? Holy fuck. This is insanity. He literally tried to tell them stop looking into FTX after they paid him. And people wonder why we don't want to be on this guy's side. Again, These guys are stealing from everywhere. More fraudsters. Well, who do you think the fraudsters were? They were corporations who did not need funding. And guess what they did? They took the funding anyways. Or they took more funding than they should have, and they frauded the economy because they knew nothing would happen to them. 280 billion was taken from fraudsters. No big deal. Another 123 billion went missing or was wasted or was misspent. That's $403 billion. That means the government went and issued $403 billion that was stolen or was just basically thrown in the trash. We don't know where all the money is. We don't know where the debt's coming from. We don't know why our country is so fucked up. You threw away $403 billion that we know of. That's just that we know of. And that's not counting your $1 trillion program after bailout program. I said, this is fucking insanity. And then they sit there and they know, well, 185 billion's coming. Well, guess what? I think you guys need to read this out loud to yourselves. U.S. banks facing $1.45 trillion in commercial real estate exposure. Lenders prepare to sell at a loss. Banks are facing $1.45 trillion as more and more businesses are closing and unable to pay rent. I showed you guys there's over, 800 million in backed paid rent to these commercial real estates. So now you need to add that as well. And that's going to keep piling. They're going to have another couple $100 billion backed up in payments on top of this. The banks are fucking going to take hits. And people, like I said, people are going to be running and running and running. There is no escape for these fucking pieces of shit. Because you cannot sit there and lift a rug and sweep the dirt under there and sweep the dirt under there and keep lifting up different spots and keep lifting up different spots. Guess what? Eventually you're out of spots and the fucking rug is 10 feet off the ground. People are going to notice and they're waking up and they're seeing your dirt pile, which is called the swaps in the fucking OTC market and all of this bullshit you call liquidity, which is just selling something to give an asset that isn't there. It's an IOU. Liquidity is an IOU. It is something that is not there, that a market maker, somebody comes in and says, here, I'll facilitate the trade and I'll cover it later. No, that's not liquidity. That's an IO-fucking-U. I didn't buy an IOU. I didn't go to the stock market to say, hey, I want an IOU for this stock. I don't go to a market maker exemption for a stock. I don't go into a store and say, hey, I want that pizza over there, but give it to me in an IOU, and then I'll eat it tonight. No, I'll eat it later when you guys have a whole bunch or they're on sale. No. Like I said, this shit is fucking insane. These guys steal billions and fuck up anyone in their path. And at the same time, Doug sits here and has the balls to come and fucking talk to me about how everything they do is legitimate. No, you are a fucking loser. All of you guys are the biggest terrorist organization on the entire fucking planet. Your wife uses you for your fucking money. There is no size improvement. No, it's called selling IOUs. Pay back your fucking sold securities not yet purchased. You piece of fucking shit. Had to get this one out, guys. I really did. I had to get this one out, man. Because this should be on every fucking news article. Look at this. In a Jeffrey Epstein trial case with the biggest name. This would be like if OJ, they just withheld everything. And that was a bad example. That was a bad example. This would be like if, I don't even know. I'm trying to think of like the biggest criminal here on Wall Street. Because I don't even want to say Madoff. Because I don't give a fuck about Madoff. He was stealing from the rich. See, Madoff does it. It's called a Ponzi scheme. When these guys do it, it's called market making. They just took his fucking his scheme and then called it market making. And then brought it to the United States. Brought in some short selling. Changed some laws, and then became their own regulators. How can you regulate the stock market and be a participant? Not only a participant, the market maker. He said, Doug, you're a fucking piece of shit. There is no purpose. There is zero purpose in the market for a market maker other than for cheating and criminal activities. Because if you go, think about it. Think about this. Let's just think about this. It is so simple. If there are shares out there, they're going to be what? Inside of an exchange, right? They're going to be out in an exchange. Why do you need a market maker? Oh, it's because if there's not shares there, we're going to have to go ahead and sell you some. Because if we didn't have that ability, true supply and demand would be there. Because when we run out of shares, we run out of shares. You can't buy them. The prices would be unfucking real. But what we can do is go ahead and call it liquidity and then have unlimited shares. He literally says the word unlimited. We have unlimited liquidity. Unlimited liquidity. Good old Dougie. We got unlimited liquidity. I've just been talking shit to this fucking loser all day. And then all day I'm calling him. I'm like, dude, you have bigger boobs than your wife, you fucking loser. Because look at this. This guy's got fucking F cups. Like I said, she's not with you for your looks, buddy. It's got to be the cash. Or the access to clients. That was hard to figure out. You look like your grandpa. How's this lawsuit coming along, you fucking loser? June 14th, Virtue Finance security fraud lawsuit. No way. Hey, Doug, how's that going? Like I said, dude, these guys are all fucking criminals. They're all pieces of shit. Get your money out of the banks, by the way. TD. TD, where's my money? TD's money's just gone today. Their accounts were just missing. We're going to refund your deposits, I promise. We had hours-long outages. We had no idea where anyone's money went. We don't know what you guys deposited. You better have your receipts. And what happens to the people that didn't have their receipts? You see what I mean? They're just going to steal. And then they're going to say, oh, well, sorry. Or they're going to go ahead and smash up some fucking... Dougie Fresh has entered the chat. Is he in here? Dougie, are you in here, you little bitch? I wish he was, dude. Boy, do I wish he was. What's up, Phil? I'm about to leave, man. I gotta go to work here in like 9 minutes. I just had to vent big time, dude, because this corruption knows no bound, dude. I mean, the fact that they can get away with trafficking people, they can literally get away with trafficking people, and they're telling on each other, and they're admitting they did it. Listen, JPMorgan says ex-First Lady of U.S. Virgin Island helped Epstein do it. And then they're getting sued by them saying, well, they did it with us. They're suing each other for the same fucking thing. Okay. Oh, Phil, since you just joined, they went ahead and bribed a judge today. All this new evidence came out that they were withholding documentation, evidence, interviews with other, people that were trafficked, all sorts of criminal fucking shit, and they just didn't present it to the court. They withheld it. Read this sentence here, dude. Documentation, key witnesses, some have already been disposed for strategic reasons. Jamie Dimon had 1,500 documents that they wouldn't give up. They're just like, nah, don't worry about it. And look at this, look at this bottom. Oh my God, dude. Keeping Bernie Madoff's Ponzi fraud going for years by looking the other way. Yeah, because, like I said, dude, this motherfucking, God, JPMorgan is the biggest fucking pile of shit on the planet. And guess who's got the fucking most? Look at them. They're trying their ass off. They're trying their hardest right now to catch up to Bank of America. They're trying so fucking hard. Who can get away with the most criminal activities? I bet that's something that they talk about. Who can get away with the most fines? Now, a lot of people were asking about, Ape, why has it been going up and down, barcoding. I don't think it's been barcoding. It's piece of shit Antera. Every time it raises a little bit, they go ahead and they sell and they sell and they sell and they keep it pinning it down, pinning it down, pinning it down. Why do I think it went up a little bit? Is because we finally bought up what they've sold. They're letting it raise up a little bit, and then they're gonna fucking sell it back down because they're fucking pieces of shit. And I told everybody right away, they're not in this for the long term. So all these people, Adam Aaron's giving it to the hedge funds, and now they're gonna control the company. Blah blah blah. Nope, they were in this for the money. They're in it to get in, get out, make a whole bunch more fucking cash. And you know what? You guys deal with the reverse split. But what we'll do is if the reverse split, is good, we'll go ahead and keep some of our shares and do it later. They're not in it to fucking take over the company like all these people are trying to lead you guys down. No. But Antare's a piece of shit, and this is another reason why we want the reverse split. Since we have been in this play, our entire financial fucking everything has been controlled by our predatory lenders. The only way to get them out is to raise a massive amount of cash, pay off those bonds with those fuckers, get rid of their covenants and all their bullshit, and kick them out. And you're not going to do that without this reverse split. That is how you get rid of the fucking pieces of shit we're fighting. Why do you want them at the table? Everybody that's, it's bad. Why? You want your predatory lenders? You want them having a seat at the table? You want them controlling AMC's finance? You want them having them by the balls? Like I said, it is insanity to me that people haven't woken up, that there's still people that are so stupid. No, it's a bad thing. Okay, you're right. Let's go ahead and go bankrupt because we're going to still lose money in these next 2 quarters. AMC's still burning cash, but nobody seems to care. No, finances don't matter with AMC. For some reason, like I said, all the no voters seem to think financials don't matter, but they don't look at the financial situation of AMC. There's a reason why they're trying to delay AMC's split. It's because it fucking helps us in every single way, and it hurts them in every single way. He's not going to go out and give out 400 million shares. He doesn't need to raise $8, $9, $10 billion by doing that. It's just stupidity. Sorry, I'm heated as fuck today. This JPMorgan shit, like I said, trafficking, this isn't anything to be fucking around with. Like, this is something that is in fucking sanity. I'm going to leave you off with this email one more time. I'm going to go live again here in the next couple days. We'll actually go into AMC. We'll go into the contracts. We'll go into the June things. But I just had to vent, dude. Like, this stuff is just blowing my mind. And it's like, and it's barely even talked about. You have a corrupt judge closing the case after all this new evidence came out. You have the feds, once again, for the 4th time. They're right with crypto. They're right with the GameStop report. They're right with fucking Silicon Valley. It was the big banks doing their corrupt shit, taking out more big banks. Like I said, at some point, God, dude, like, we need our own fucking news network. We need to, like, make a GoFundMe page and make our own news channel. Because maybe then people will believe us if we're actually on television or something. Because this is ridiculous, dude. Like, it's not on CNN. It's not on Fox. Who gives a fuck? The Democrats or the Republicans aren't talking about it? Yeah, because they're the ones doing it. Why would they tell you their crimes? But at least they tell you every other time down the road, hey, you guys were right and we're looking into this now. Phil, I love that song you did today, buddy. Let me go ahead and I'm going to leave everybody off with that. That's how we're going to end this video. Phil put out a new banger. We're going to finish it off with this.
A lot of people want me to come in here and talk about what's going on with the movement and what I believe it stands for. And, we find out as retail for the last, ever, the entire system's against you. You have market makers with rule exemption 203B, and they can fill shares without locating. Now you have, Citadel going on Twitter bragging about how they do $15 billion a year worth of stocks, which is technically them selling us synthetics, or them selling us what we should be calling market maker exemptions. The entire time you sit there and you find out the media is against you, you got Kramer, you got all of these regulators that are supposed to be protecting retail, protecting all of us. Instead, they're sitting there helping them. They have a thing called an acceptance waiver and consent. Accept waiver and consent allows crime. They're allowed to do it, never admit guilt, and they just pay a small fine and just keep going. You have people like Jamie Dimon and JPMorgan with 236 violations, which are all felony crimes, but they're able to continuously trade in the market. You have your government who's supposed to be helping you, politicians who are sitting there going to these guys' Citadel's office. Janet Yellen makes more money a year doing speaking fees for Citadel than she does at her own government.
Swap lines given to these guys. You know, the risk parity trade was protected. You know, very much like what happened over here when all your, you know, LTI stuff blew up, right?
Yeah. Or is this what happened with Silicon Valley Bank?
Well, that's a whole nother story.